Greetings, ladies and gentlefish. In this replay, we have got CartoonVillain again. You may remember him from the VK3001H game last week. This time he's driving the Black Prince, the British Tier 7 heavy tank. This is the last of the Churchill tanks that you get in the game. By last, I mean the highest tier. He is on Sand River map. He's on the, well, this is an assault game, he's on the defending team, and this is patch 9.7, so this is before, if memory serves, this is before they made all of those changes to this map that, in my opinion, really ballsed up the assault mode. Anyway, c'est la vie. So, the first thing, I mean, I've got a full review of the Black Prince if anyone's interested. It's a little old now, but I've still got it. And the first thing that's obvious here is that it is slow. I mean, CartoonVillain is lucky if he's doing 20 kilometers an hour here. But he's coming over to this right-hand flank, the 8, 9, and 0 lines, along with a bunch of other guys and gals from his team. There's IS, T25-2, VK, KV85, Tiger P. There's a whole bunch of them over here. So hopefully there's going to be a whole bunch of bad guys, because otherwise all these fellows have come over here for nothing. Well, they've spotted a Panther M10, so there's one of the enemy top tiers, and, you know, CartoonVillain here is top tier, but it's not the best matchmaking in the world. If you actually look at it, it's a tier 7 game, but there's only one tier 5 in the entire game, that poor unfortunate Type T34 on the enemy team. And oh wow, actually if you look at the matchmaking spread, holy sweet Jesus. So CartoonVillain's team have 5 tier 6s and the rest are tier 7s, so that's 10 tier 7s and 5 tier 6s. His opponents have a 1 tier 5, have 1 tier 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tier 6s and 8 tier 7s, had 8 tier 7s. So actually, in terms of tank tier, the matchmaker has thrown the enemy team a little bit of a less good hand. You might have thought, no, is he in a platoon? No. You might have thought the Type T34 might at least have been put on CartoonVillain's team. Anyway, I digress. CartoonVillain is now in a position to actually do something with this gun, and this gun is the ubiquitous 17-pounder that you find on pretty much every British tank at the mid-tiers in this game, and it is both a blessing and a curse, depending on who you ask and what vehicle you're referring to. The gun and the whole playstyle of this tank, i.e. it's more a medium tank gun and good armour, kind of mean that the Black Prince is very much at the mercy of the matchmaker. It really doesn't like tier 9s, where your 171 penetration and 150 alpha damage are pathetic. And it doesn't, but in a tier 7 game it can be an absolute monster. And despite the tier discrepancy between the teams, you can see CartoonVillain have gotten off to an amazing start. Half of them are dead. So the scoreline currently reads 3-7. This is not looking particularly good. CartoonVillain is also here using something that the Black Prince gets over the other Churchill tanks. It actually gets some gun depression. The Churchill 1 and the Churchill 7 have terrible gun depression. The Black Prince actually gets 8 degrees and a really sweet turret. Worth pointing out now, of course, that the Black Prince has actually been given a HD model. So the armour layout has been changed a little bit, but the armour on this tank is still very, very good as far as I can work out, even with the HD model, so it's nothing to worry about. This A44 was being a little optimistic. He has appalling gun depression, so good luck using that position. And he got taken out for his troubles, and this VK3001D, well, is potentially also being quite optimistic. I mean, it depends who he's got in support. Wouldn't be surprised if the hill back there was swarming with camping tank destroyers. But we know it's not swarming with a T25-2. Could still be a Jagdpanther and a Stura Emil, though, both of which are perfectly capable of penetrating the Black Prince if they are careful with their shots. So, KV85 over to the right-hand side. Goodbye, little tank. And that's CartoonVillain's first kill. Scoreline is 5-8 though, so it's still not looking great. Thankfully, of course, this is an assault game, so the emphasis is very much on the enemy team to get off their backsides and come over here and kill CartoonVillain's team, or at least capture the team's base. There will be no draw, it will be a win for one team or the other, which is actually one of the things I kind of like about the Assault game mode. There are no draws, and I despise draws in this and any other game. So, T25-2, no, that was never going to work. I know, I'll shoot up a hull down Black Prince. Nope, terrible idea. Hello, Mr. VK. That was also a terrible idea. And that's kill number 3. And now CartoonVillain's team are actually winning. And there's an IS. Om nom 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 nom. In this sort of situation, that's basically an XP pinata. CartoonVillain, well, he was either close to being hull down or... Ooh, actually, well done to him. He was pretty much hull down, and any of his hull that the IS would be able to see was at a good angle. However, he has straightened the angle out a bit now, meaning that penetrations are a little bit more likely from that IS. The Black Prince only actually has 152mm of raw thickness on the hull, so you do need to slope it, you do need to angle it in order to get anything out of it. The 175mm of penetration that those Soviet 122mm guns get is capable of punching through the front of this tank, if they aim their shots well and if you are not making life difficult for them. Oh, there's the Stura Emil. Yeah, he's not going to have a good day. He's made of tissue paper and wishful thinking. And CartoonVillain is just going to work this guy over. Nicely done. So, the scoreline is 12-10. There's only 3 of them left now. This Stura Emil, the Cromwell, who we also know is over here, and the Artillery, who it appears is also over here. So, this should be a good opportunity for CartoonVillain to eat a bunch of guys' faces. Understandably, he's a little bit cautious about going after that Cromwell, because he really doesn't want to take a German 128mm shell to the face. They generally do offend. I'm kind of bracing for the impending impact. No, apparently it doesn't come. Alright.
3 minutes left.
Just knocking the terrain out of the way here, and then he's going to wreck this artillery. There's one shot in. Ooh, the artillery's going to be aiming at him, but no, he screwed up his aim now. And there we go. Kill on artillery, secured. Stura Emil, I've no idea why he hasn't been firing all this time. One more shot should finish this guy off. Panther M10 gets it. Cromwell was killed by the Jagdpanzer IV, and that was the game. Awesome sauce. Let's go and have a look at the results. So here we have the results from that game. That was an ace tanker for CartoonVillain in the Black Prince, along with Fighter, Unbreakable, Fire for Effect, and Bruiser. And then if you look at the proper medals, he got a High Caliber and a Steel Wall. The Black Prince is pretty good at getting Steel Wall awards. Having a look at how the various teams performed, Black Prince, CartoonVillain, was fairly easily at the top of his team by experience, damage, joint top by kills, whatever metric you wish to use. Compare him to the other team and he did more damage than anyone on the enemy team and all that jazz. So it was a damn fine game with 1305 base experience. The ace isn't that difficult to get on the Black Prince. I mean, it's not particularly easy. It's I think I got mine with 1200 and something base experience. So this is a little bit above what you actually need to get the ace tanker in this machine. 35 shots fired, 29 hits, 23 penetrations. Bear in mind a lot of those shots weren't fully aimed, they were on the move for that damage count, most of which was at relatively close range. He received 12 hits, of which only 3 penetrated, and some of that may well have gone into his tracks, bouncing 1710 damage with his armour. Spotted 4 enemy tanks, destroyed 9, killed 4, got 536 assistance damage, and made a pretty healthy profit on top of all that. So it was a nice game all told, made even nicer by the fact that there was a ×5 experience event on at the time, netting CartoonVillain almost 10,000 experience, which is very tasty indeed. I would recommend perhaps being a little bit careful with how you angle the tank in that engagement against the IS. CartoonVillain did sort of straighten the tank out a little bit, which gave the IS a chance of penetrating him. If he'd angled the hull a bit more, basically the IS would have had no chance of penning him, or very little chance of penning him. But nonetheless, a very nice game indeed there from CartoonVillain. So I hope you guys enjoyed that replay. If you did, please feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel, and as ever, I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao ciao.